Yeah.
Same. There you go. All right, what's good, people? What's good? What's good? What's good? This is For the Lag of God, and today we are talking to producer, podcaster, and distributor JC on set. What's good, JC?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on the show. I've been a viewer for some time, and you've been also on my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And just things been going well, with the podcasting era, and just supporting those that come on to the podcast.
Nice, nice. Yeah. All right. So, well, while you briefly, while you briefly touch on that, who? Let's kick it off with who is JC on
Mm.
set.
I get a lot of anxieties sometimes getting on camera, sometimes like when people interview me. But I think the name it generated from a friend of mine. She's going to community college for some graphic design. She's going to be an advertiser, like big time advertiser. She graduated recently. She and she brought to my attention that she wanted to help me on
Yeah.
my journey during COVID, and she noticed that I had some great potential, and she started promoting me. And we were like, well, this is an on-set thing, like on-set podcast. And one day she just out of the blue, she sent me some socks and it said JC on set. And I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. So with her inspiration, I probably would never be JC right now if it wasn't for her. So shout outs to Ashley. So she's doing good. I mean, um, it's a blessing to have that name, and it really sets a milestone for what I'm doing.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
Well, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, one, it's not. I want to say nostalgic, but I don't think nostalgic's the word. Um, but we'll go with it just because just because I can't remember the word I'm looking for. But it's got
Right.
that, it's that emotion, it's that emotional connection, like to it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's something, hold something dear to you. So I guess
Right.
that's how you got the name. But then, like, who is like, who are you basically? You know what I mean? So yeah, we know that you're,
Okay.
the producer, podcaster, distributor,
Yeah.
and other what other things do you feel are relevant? Like relevant? There we go.
I think that when it revolves around my character on JC on set, it's more of nostalgic. It is,
Mm.
and it's based upon like being on set and um, the character world, like that whole childish adult at play, almost, you know, an aesthetic, which no one's perfect, and I think over time when I started growing the brand. Um, there was a lot of meaning to it. I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go with it. I knew it was a good idea, and she pointed that in that direction. But over time, I think that I knew what the direction could be, and I knew how I could make it relatable to people that were on a podcast, or because my main thing is like podcasting, and it was editing, and I knew that if I'm going to name myself JC on set, I needed to know film theory and character world, and nostalgic, that whole world as it is now. With me being an editor and podcaster too, it's a lot going on with distribution. So
Mm.
I mean,
So
it is what it is. Like and I'm proud of it. I may lose myself sometimes in it though. You know.
it's yeah, you do have a tendency to get a little carried away with things, but I think that's part of it sometimes. Like, 'cause, you talk about, like, on your when you go live and do your streams now, you talk a lot about the ADHD and stuff like that. So yeah, like how do you, what's the word I want to look for? So like is part of your like because you talk a lot about it, so you like out trying to get the message of ADHD out, and how how it affects you.
Yeah, like it affects my performance a lot. So I try to incorporate it and more of a personal, not so distant. Like I don't want to cover it up. And then I
Mm.
think that's what really like brings out that the whole camera readiness. Like because like a lot of people are fake like out there. I don't mean to be biased or anything about ADHD or anything, but like the whole you have to show humility. I think life revolves around humility. And if you're going to be in the industry, in the entertainment industry, I mean, what best could you play as yourself, being you? And I think a lot of people like that organicness and the maturity with the convert, like what you're trying to do on camera.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Like, I know we've spoken about it on on your streams and that, but like the thing that I like about it, and I'm in a there's a few like neurodivergent groups and stuff that I'm in. People with ADHD, like dyslexia and stuff like that. Even though you can't really say that now, but you know what I mean.
right,
But every and it's like, but they don't like the world kind of looks at it as like a weakness, but the groups that I'm
mm,
in, they look at it as like your superpower. And like you didn't really you kind of touched on it there. I don't know whether you were kind of noticing it, but is it's what makes you you. You know what I mean? Like
right.
like the Flash has speed, Batman has a shit ton of gadgets and a load of money. Superman's an alien. You know what I mean? So
I've
like
been a hunt. Yeah, I'm a
you
hunter and gatherer. Like
yeah, so like
I really am.
you've got your ADHD, and like you being like more open about it and stuff like that. Like whether someone's in your life or whether someone's watching from outside your life, it's you're still making that impact on someone because as you said, you're being you. 'Cause you can't like.
I
What's the
can't.
point in faking it when later on you're only going to be found out for it anyway?
Absolutely.
So
And so you can't get, I mean, it also like if you understand a little bit about the business and entertainment, authenticity and being original and those things that's what people are looking for, like, publishers and just different businesses, they want to see exactly who you are and what makes you tick because your colors might just, help them.
hmm.
So like, and all around, like I was a guy in high school or in middle school raising my hand all the time because I had ADHD and I couldn't remember and I had questions and and I also, raised my hand because I didn't think that was the right way to do things. Like I like try to like fix things. Like ADHD is more than just it's neurological. Like it really is. Like it's something that like for me, I want to fix everything, reinvent the wheel,
Hmm.
and that's hard for some people because there's limitations in this world, and you know when I got ready for this, this podcast that you were. He's like, hey, I want to interview you. I'm okay, okay, great. Like I wanted to do it like right then and there. And I'm like, okay, you said let's do it tomorrow. So I was like, okay, I couldn't get no sleep. That urgentness that okay, what am I gonna say? I didn't do any, I didn't prepare for nothing. I was like,
Hmm.
because I don't think I need to. I said if I think about it too much, because thinking doesn't get me paid because I have a tendency to do that.
Hmm.
And that's where that thinking that don't get you paid, like comes into play. My brother used to say it all the time, like, Jeremy, thinking don't get you paid. So what's all these ideas about?
Well, it's
So
not that thinking don't get you thinking can get you paid. It depends,
it,
kind of like there are people that run businesses as think boxes.
yeah.
You know what I mean, so they're paid to think. So yeah, thinking does get you paid in some sense, but
Yeah, it
I I
does.
know I
I
know what
took
you
it
mean. But
literal though.
with oh yeah, but like with things like this, I mean, all right, we could have I probably could have done it yesterday when we were sort of talking about it, but I was like, I was like, do they really want to do it on the spot like that, or
Yeah,
whatever? And I was like, I don't know. So I was like, let's just, and plus like times out, like the time differences, and that I was like, yeah, it's just wait till tomorrow, sort of thing. Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, but you haven't really got much to prepare for. Do you know what I mean? You kind of know what we do
Yeah,
and whatever, and then you just come on and give your answer and give your answers. That's kind of that's
it's
how
kind of a
that's how I do it. You know what I mean? Just be like,
yeah.
right, what
Me
am I doing?
too. Yeah, me too.
As long as I kind of know whether or not I'm gonna cuss or not is a different matter. But you know what I
Get
mean?
cussed,
Because
man.
I have a bad habit for cussing, but that's why I go on some things. Like when I went on your one, I was just like, "Yo, can we cuss?" Like,
Yeah, I
it's like,
and yeah, I did it the same way with Artists United Network, and you had brought Artists United Network up on one of the highlights there, but we'll wait until they get to that. But
yeah,
so
but
it's cool.
yeah, and also just really quickly before we go on to the next question is you brought up filmography. So how do you feel that plays into like the podcasting and the editing?
Oh man, I mean, is that even how we pronounce it?
What
Semi,
filmography?
yeah, I guess filmography.
Well, I don't know. I thought
I
that's how you
guess
said it earlier. I thought
that's
what
how I said
filmography
it.
or cinematography.
Seminography? Yeah,
Yeah,
seminography.
well,
Yeah.
whatever. Either way, that word.
Yeah, like I mean, it's all like it. So like the dramatic part is when you can look at what you're doing and set the scene. And there's, that plays a pivotal role in what your viewership is going to look like and what they're going to look like what they're going to see. So, I mean, it could be first person view, some B rolls, some one-on-one transitions like fade in, fade out, match cuts, L cuts, audio cuts. Um, setting your scene is important, like what you say and how you match it up with the film that's in front of it. So you could do like a freeze frame for like an exciting surprise, or you could lead in with a sound in your intro with a black screen with the title into you driving a car and then the car changes colors in the next scene in the same frame. So like you could really do a big spin-off, maybe a passing of time at the very beginning of your highlight reel that you have from your previous week of your podcast. Um, and it's just a multitude of whatever you want to have your audience like they're watching it, like they're going to have feelings, and you can show doubt in that scene. You can show doubt, you can show sadness. And my dog, he wants in, hold on. No, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. And that's just to show us one thing too. Is like when you look at it,
Hmm.
can you hear that water? So that aesthetic, and how you show it on screen, and if the video composition needs to be sped up or slowed down.
Hmm.
So I think bringing, okay, as a whole, when you're looking at the videos and stuff and the characters and the character world, with your podcast and how you present it, you can go a few ways with it. Um, you can show what happened in the past, or you can show what's present, and you can show that emotion. And that's kind of like what I'm still working on today. I still need help on that. Like I still need the character world to expand. And that's kind of like where I'm at now, I think.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
So that's basically just like trying to find more people to come on as characters then.
Yeah, as characters and as themselves and as their experiences throughout life. show that on camera. And that's kind of like what we're looking for. Like I know Artists United Network is looking for that whole character expansion and acting. And not necessarily like fake. We're looking for that natural. And I think that's what film companies and people that write scripts too are looking for, people that are natural, has a natural talent. And that's where that comes from, I think.
Nice, nice. All right, so sticking with that one then. And how like with Artists United, how did you get involved with Artists United Network?
Yeah. So they were going, oh, sorry. They were going on their 10th year of doing film and doing film festivals with Dustin Diggs. They were established way before I did my podcast. It was during the COVID. And I came on the same time they were bringing on musicians. And I was part of the, St. Louis in the Midwest area and Illinois area. And I was introduced by them. I just found them on the internet. Like they just popped up out of nowhere. And then like they had they had a lot of events and stuff going on, and I was there and I never seen them. I never knew who they were. So I ended up reaching out to them, talking to Dustin and hold on. Dustin Diggs, and he got me on the show. We did a remote interview, and at the time, I was in a horrible condition. Like I was just starting out with the podcast, but for some reason, I started a buzz, and people started sharing my stuff because I was back in the game. Like I had left the music and left the city for damn near 3 years, and then I showed up as a podcaster. So like his stuff really mattered to me. It was a big thing because I seen some sort of glamorification on there. Like I was instantly drawn into Artists United, and it was something that I couldn't resist. And I knew I knew that was for me. But I didn't know how to do it. So I started watching the shows. I started getting, okay, cool. Like, all right, I'm learning from him. And then I started doing the film transitioning and stuff into knowledge. And one thing later, I got on a show, I told my experience. And the first time he got me on was, he said, here's this guy. I've been seeing him on, can never forget about this. This guy, I've been seeing his posts more than the Artists United Network. I'm like, is that how he introduces his podcast?
Oh, if he, I mean, that's.
I'm like, wow.
If he's seeing you more than he's seeing his own stuff,
yeah,
or other people that he might follow, I'm surely that. I mean, I'd see that as a good thing if you're able to reach me more than other people that that I'm following and whatever, then I'd say you're obviously doing something right in that respect.
Yeah, and that just, it was a confirmation for me for like this was meant to be. So he offered me that, like he offered me that respect, and that's kind of like what I like about him, as he was open and he was human to a point where it wasn't showing. He was showing humility. He was showing that no one else was, like he wasn't better than nobody just because he has got a nice setup and nice cameras, and there was nothing. It was true. It was a true thing to happen.
Yeah. Oh no, I'd take that as a pretty good thing, and
I did,
and for him to bring you on and introduce you like that, mate, that's massive.
Yeah. So he introduced me, and then I got on. I talked about my experience with the music, and that I was starting out in the publishing world. And see, things didn't escalate until I got on there, and he put me on as a administrator on the United Artists Network. And then a year later, the company changed the policies and stuff. So they changed their policy. So they pretty much put a statement out, and I was hinted to put that statement out for them. Like maybe it was my spirit, or they didn't tell me to do it, but I printed it out, and the statement was, I still had the statement. I still had the original copy of it. And it was saying that we appreciate everyone and the support on what they have been helping me on the Artists United Network. But our company has been, it escalated to a point where they are hiring a professional marketing team. So the people that were on admin, we were skeptical at some point on, okay, what's going on? Are they going to, are they big now? Like, are they going to have a big investor now? So there was a skeptic, all that stuff was going on and a lot of talk, and people kind of walked away a little. People shot an eye, like they were looking at us like, okay, wow, what's going to happen next? It was a big step for Artists United. And he went and applied all the admins back over to Artists United Network News. And we knew that only one person, because in the note it read, not only one person can make this go big. Like you can't just only one person cannot make this.
Well, yeah, it takes a team, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's what it said. Yeah. And then that was big. That was big. No. That was super big, and everybody respected that. And a lot of people left. A lot of people came back, but now he's back in order. And it took that right energy to keep that focus on Artists United.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Good. All right. So you mentioned about the music, but I'm gonna hold off on the music bit because there's a couple of other music questions I want to ask you, like probably a little bit later. So I'm gonna hold off on that one for now.
Okay.
But from the Artists United, how did the Digital Alliance platform come from? Was that something different, or was that like kind of?
It was something that was
side note from Artists United.
Yeah, that's a side note, and that's still in play right now. All I can say, I can't really talk about the IP on that, the intellectual property, but it's something where
what inspired it, sort of thing.
Yeah, what inspired it? Okay, so my publisher, in 2021, I landed a distribution publishing deal with Peachtree Music Group, which introduced me a seat, VP marketing, onto the Digital Alliance platform. So I became an organizer on that in VP. So me and Antonio, we got together, and he's like, okay, here's what your business is. This is what you do, and this is how you do it, and this is what you're doing. So, and I never knew I wanted to pursue Artists United Network as a partner or just bring them on, to the platform. And I knew it could hold a lot of value, and I wasn't kind of unsure because they have a lot of core fans. They have a lot of core members that have their own shows, like kind of what we're doing. Yeah. To put all that into one barrel and to distribute the music and the videos from the creators that come through there, that was more of a publishing type of deal through video. And at the time, I wasn't familiar with none of that. So it took me about a year to get my stuff straight on that, like the intellectual property, on what is included on, okay, how do we go about registering videos the right way on a network? And how do we supervise that? How do we look at that, and we take that data that they're gathering like the people that come in for the films and through the music submissions and the artists that come through there, and do they have permissions to rebroadcast? Are they signing, you know, contracts that are saying, okay, you Artists United Network can have permission to rebroadcast, you know, this music? And
Mm.
how are we going to protect the artists? How are we going to protect Artists United from infringements and copyright from other publishers? And it was until the second season of my podcast, an onset podcast, that he called me one day and he said, we did have an interview on this, but I was in a position where I didn't know exactly everything. So I had notes in front of me. Like, I talked to my publisher that day and I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? Like, he got me on the spot. Like, I put myself in a position again, like I did in Twista when I booked Twista, the rapper.
Yeah.
But this time it was a little bit different because I knew how to go about it. And he interviewed me and we talked about how are we going to secure the artist. And at that
Mm.
time it was public. And I said, well, this is how we're going to do it. And then, like, further than that, we kind of grew a relationship together. And, you know, I think that was the story. And from there on, we've been hustling. You know, he's got his publishing now and he's filling out all that paperwork. And that's about all I can say. Really, there's no agreements on either side. We're still in negotiations for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I guess I hope that really sparks that question.
Well, kind of, yeah. I
Is
thought,
there anything I'm missing? Because I kind of go off subject
no,
a
no,
little.
no. You're all right. You're all right. You know, I just
Okay,
because you do it. I just,
and that's kind of
I
what I
know that
was
you do
doing.
it, and I thought if we kind of put it out there, so if anyone's kind of watching this back and it's like, oh, like a bit of distribution or whatever, or
Yeah,
someone that might know about it, it might be able
trigger.
to lead someone might contact you. Hopefully, you never know. So,
Absolutely.
because I
Yeah,
know.
and that's what it's all about. Like, that's the whole, because like the publishing deal that I got, I had to learn everything in the back end.
Mm,
Like, I had to learn how to do to label it, to fingerprint, pretty much. To
yeah.
what companies had to have the resources, and I had to have the contact information. So, like, a lot of people, like, it's all about who you know in the music business. We hear that, but, you
Mm,
know, like, I don't think a lot of people really understand that it's more on intellectual property than anything. Like, they don't want to talk about it because it's their job, and it's my job to make $90,000 a year. You know, like, it's my job to fingerprint it. Like, if we were going about, like, I know the seriousness of it, but if we were going about to say that, if we go on TikTok and you look, you're going to see a lot of that on TikTok. People, uh, you know, trying to educate people around IP. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if you look, you can see it. It shows it, but, you know, it's if everyone knows it, then there's no reason to have a job position. It's like kind of AI. It's kind of that shift.
Well, I don't know.
So
I'd
I don't
say
know. Like,
there's still a place for a job. It's like anything,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
you'll still be able to have a job. Then I guess maybe if you're, I don't know, like you might feel threatened in some way, with all the
Right,
people maybe knowing stuff. But then with everyone knowing stuff, how do we? Then again, how do you know who really knows what they're talking about?
right.
Who's recycling something that someone else has said, and who's
Absolutely.
just making shit up?
And I
Like
think that's a
so.
good question. Yeah.
So I think there's like and if you're good at something, you'll always have a job at the end. Like you'll always have a job somewhere at the
That's
end of
true.
it. Whether or not it's you might be somewhere for a month, or you might be somewhere for a couple years, but depending on what you know and depending on the impact that you make
Right.
on those people. You could be somewhere for a month and leave and think, oh, that didn't go so well, and then maybe like a month or a couple months, maybe even a year later, you get this phone call like, look, mate, I got this thing. You were the first person that popped into my head.
Oh.
Are you interested? So yeah, I it's like with
Yeah,
anything,
I do.
even
I
with like
agree.
even with like construction and stuff like that, like I used to do construction years back. Um, it's like if you're good at something, or you make a good impression, people will remember that. And then then that also, like, and then like they say, word of mouth uh is your biggest tool, like,
Oh, yes. Speaking of
so
that, yeah, speaking of word of mouth,
yeah, go on.
the invite only, well, Digital Lights platform is invite only. We're not
Mm.
public. So like there there's invite only is sort of like gatekeeping. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna tell you a reason why. I'm gonna tell you a reason why this is going hand this rides together.
yeah.
An example. The music that you review on your show.
Mm.
People put their music out. And that's fine. I agree with that. But when they make their music public, do they got a couple $1,000s to market it? When they openly do it, that's the question. Like, if you're serious and you don't have investments, why should you? It's like embarking on, like, you can't sail without a damn boat. Like, you can't, like, I'm trying to think of some things here to say, but life cannot go on if you don't have the right knowledge or investment. Like, I mean, that's why I called it, that's why I see it as independent artists, the struggling artists, because they don't have investments, or they're not strategically making decisions in their life that's financial, that's going to help them. Like, because if I submitted some songs to you and I gave you $250 for the month, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to be on the stream promoting the shit out of that song, right? Like,
Well,
it's going to
yeah,
give
like,
you encouragement. So when they go on there, and I watch your shows and stuff, I've seen and listened and watched, and I love this stuff. I love your show.
okay.
That's what I'm saying is invite only. Like, we know what we have and we're waiting on investments. But as long as we're invite only, then we can control, I think that we can control our own works. Like, it's all about that control, because I mean, if you see it in different ways, like, I want you to put your opinion on this, because digitalized platform is invite only because we need people that with investments to only inquire. Hey, you have a budget? Okay. Well, this is what we have.
Mm.
What can you bring? Like, how much money do you want to spend on your own career?
Yeah,
Since we have a direct publishing. So,
yeah, but then you could say that, but then what are you like? Okay, you're helping them publish and you know, putting them out on the streaming platforms, and
mhm,
wherever
mhm.
else you're publishing to. I
Yeah,
don't know. So we're just gonna go
it's
with
the
the basics.
DSPs. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
like
And
the
it's
basics, like Spotify and stuff like that. So
right.
again, it's all right saying, how much is your budget, but then it's kind of like,
What do we do?
yeah,
Okay, I'll show you.
what am I getting from you as
Okay, so
well?
you have, name a few, like you have DistroKid, and you have these other streaming platforms.
Yeah,
There are companies that release your music for you and that pre-generate the business. It's all pre-generated for them. Like, what's the difference between us is our tech company has a tech stack code that relays all that data to the streaming platform. That's something that not a lot of people don't know about, tech stack code,
okay.
and that this infrastructure. So
Mm.
a long time I've been doing this and being mentored is, we have engineers on the platform. We pay them engineers, and we consult for musicians and bands and creators. And now we consult for everything. We're talking about to the gardener, to the cook, to
Yeah,
the only fan that goes on there and doesn't show anything. But who, like, that video is, like, the money is in, I would say the money's in publishing, and the money's in tech companies, tech streaming companies, instead of record labels. That's my opinion. Um, if boys
Mm.
go street knowledge and like we're on here, we might as well. And I'm not saying anything you can't go out and research.
Yeah.
I mean, we listen like right now, the younger generation, I think, listens to TikTok and those influencers, but they have no idea who runs those claims. TikTok doesn't deal with the sound that the organizations do, the tech
Mm.
companies do. They're just streaming the video and catching the bad guy
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point. So I don't want to get too serious because I get serious involved with it, but
It's all right.
yeah, and I just want to say that like digital learning platform, I think is going to be one of the biggest. You know, I want it to be one of the biggest platforms. Me and my partners are very transparent on the independent lifestyle because that's what
So
these
then,
influencers are going to is the independent artists now. So if you're not buzzing right now, there's something wrong. Like because that's what it's all about. Like
okay.
I think the mindset, yeah. So like what we're trying to do on digital arts is publish music, video, and creators, but also secure the artist and the acquisitions behind the business. Like really,
So
really,
basically, like from let's say intellectual theft, basically. So
absolutely, because you go on DistroKid, let's for example, it's a good,
mm,
I like that. You go on DistroKid and someone claims your music, it gets if you read the contract, and the contract says if you get a claim, your music is going to be taken down until that notice of intent,
yeah, but
that
that's
notes are satisfying the claim.
yeah, that's like a lot. So like you've got like ASCAP, BMI, and stuff like that, and we got PPL and PRS over here, and
Right.
that's and that they handle all the the intellectual, and then you've got the mechanicals, and yeah, and kind of the same, like if for some reason you're like, or not if for some reason, but yeah, if for some reason, someone decides to make a claim on your track, then then that claim will then basically stop that. They'll basically say, okay, look, there's a claim, this kind of needs sorting out.
Yeah.
And you've got
Paperwork
two.
needs to be looked at
Yeah,
and
so
see who
you've
owns
got a
it.
couple of options. Like we're gonna stop your track basically from. Nice, nice. So
Yeah.
you got the uh. So so when you say about the budget in there, so someone like thing. So
Mm-hmm.
then you get
Oh,
the
okay.
intellectual help. You get the distribution help,
Yep.
and then
And then do you have
what
your
like you get like
copyrights and
yes
stuff that's
and
paid for and the international standard recording codes. And the one thing that a lot of artists don't get is financial lawyers and stuff. Like you get all that in the package. It all comes
okay,
on
because
the
I was
thing
gonna say like is it
structured.
yeah, like marketing and plans to how you gonna push stuff out or something. But
Yeah.
fucking
So
a financial lawyer is pretty bloody good as well, to be honest.
yeah, so that's really that's not on that's above my pay grade. It is what it is, and that's pretty much all I can say on that part. I mean, that's all the protection you're going to get.
Hmm. All right.
Like that's what like other than that, when you sign a contract, you're good. Like we'll put you in with all the our contacts. We'll get you set up with the point of contacts, and it's kind of like that, and it just keeps going. And I think I may have said too much, but I mean, I'm not supposed to put it out there like
I don't think you've
I
said
don't
anything
say
really that's
anything about the major stuff.
gonna put you in trouble. I think
No, everything's
you're all
public that
right.
I'm saying now.
Yeah.
I don't have to like, because this is a big thing. People, this is a thing, something people would negotiate and fishbowl on.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying some words that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm excited for this interview because I wanted to explore the possibilities so independent artists don't get it twisted. Because that's how they explain it. That's how they in terminologies and the culture and the ways that we go about things. They want to know. And when they know, then they feel safe.
Oh yeah,
And
you want to know where you're go like what you can get
investments,
from where you're going, because you want to feel safe with
right?
where you're going. You don't want to end up in like for example, like a Taylor Swift situation. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to end up going somewhere
Oh, the
and
National
then
Singer
yeah,
Songwriters
and then
Association takes down all Taylor Swift stuff from TikTok,
well that
and
or
everyone should, yeah,
well not necessarily taking it from down from TikTok. I was thinking more, you've signed to a guy, you put out all these albums, and then next minute they're bought off by billionaires looking to make investment, but then it's like they don't bother to reach out to her. They just making money off her
right,
albums, and they're gonna make a lot more money than she's gonna make. And she
absolutely,
went back and redid it all to there's a big fuck you basically. So
yeah,
you want
and
to
that's sad. That's sad when that happens.
oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
something that's been like a lot of that stuff. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know these people
Well, no, but like I said, I'm just
from
saying.
an independent standpoint. Like I'm not letting that happen
Yeah.
at all. It shouldn't get that far. I think if this is a really sensitive topic, but I think, I think aberration is needed. I think every major artist needs to have somebody like an independent artist, or you
Mm.
arbitrate for them. What do you think I should do since you're still in the normal realm? Like, because you get so high up in there, you have other people making your decisions for you anyhow. You might as well go with somebody that's still normal, that can adjust their. You're like, okay, she's giving me a perfect example of this. Like, I rather have somebody that's lower than me give me reasons, play the bad guy. I need you to figure out what's wrong. What am I not seeing? And I think that's a perfect example of life and being human.
So like so if she come to you and was just like, "No, Jay, what do you think of this album?" And then basically you critique it, and then tell her, this is what I think is a bit shit, like,
Yeah,
or something.
I think if you review like, I feel like if Taylor Swift came to us and said, "Hey, what do you think about this album?" I would think it would sound like every other thing you put out.
Yeah, but I don't.
But and it would cause a stir. It would cause it to go viral like they're doing now. So I mean, but we're not in that.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Go ahead. Like,
I reckon I could find a way in. I reckon I could find a way in. But
yeah,
like, and
I think
again,
if you
I don't
use,
think. I don't think. Yeah, no. Go on, go on. What was you gonna
all
say? What was you gonna say? Go
right,
on. I'll let
I'm
you.
gonna finish this. This is good. Like,
All right.
okay, so there are criterias for sound and engineering,
Yeah.
and there are, certain phrases and, in the music industry and theories that a lot of people don't use when they're producing, if you're a beat maker. I mean, there's titles on it. There's a reason there's titles on beat maker or producer and sound engineer. And whatever you decide your title is going to be your niche, and I've learned that. And there's also criteria on production and sound and mix and post product. Like, okay, so like if I'm reviewing something, I'm going to be like, look, so what'd you do on? I'm going to think about what they did on their post production and how they arranged it before it got to that song, that full song, and that, what did you think? Did you want it to be in first person, second person, third person? Okay, what is it? What is the song about? What type of relatability does it have when it comes to life and different people's situations and love and perception, and kind of like what we do in editing. Like, you want to really get involved in it instead of just quick shit. Like, oh, I found a tight ass beat or whatever, and this is independent life coming from me now. Let's freestyle to it real quick. Let's get it done as quick as we can. Let's put out as much as we can. In other words, like other, the labels look at it, I think, from my perspective, is who can we relate this to?
Mm.
Do we need to change the lyrics? Because we could have said more in more past tense because it's more relatable because someone lost their parents instead of, oh, we should view it in as what happened, what was my progress when it happened, why didn't I prepare for that to happen, like put it in a story past tense or you know presently. Like you do realize that artists should be speaking to
Yeah, but that
their
comes.
audience. Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
that comes down to your songwriting. Like, are
yeah,
you, do you just, are you like, again, like some people say you should just do it and put it, like, do it and chew it, basically.
do it and chew
Or,
it.
but then, other people, again, it depends on what you want to say and how long you can sort of sit on it. Like
You
people
know,
may spend people might be able to get it out in a day. Some people it might take someone a year. You know what I mean? So, but that all comes down to your songwriting and what you want to say, how you want to say it, the journey you want to go on, and everything. So,
right.
yeah,
It is the
that's
journey. It's really the milestone that you make for yourself, I believe. It's the milestone, what you want people
mm,
to perceive you, because that's what's happening. With music, people perceive it as personal. Most of the time, it's personal. Like when I
well,
write
yeah, that's how
songs,
we all get. That's how everyone gets into music. I'd say in the first place. I mean,
yeah,
there might be the odd other cunt, but
yeah,
otherwise, I'd
yeah. I
say,
mean, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not the best at it. I've just started writing music myself, and I've been kind of putting myself in a position where, what if I was a father? What
mm,
if I was a single father with a kid? What type of struggles? And this goes into film theory. This goes into writing, scripting. Like if you look at it from that sense,
mm,
but if if you feel it, like a lot of people can feel it. Like a lot of people, I think good songwriters, they can just speak it and it just comes out. Like, oh, this is what happened in my life. This is how I felt. This is what's going on. This is the who, what, and where. And this is how we will, the speed and the tone. And then this is the type of characteristics we want to sing it in. And then
mm,
how we're going to mix it. Do we want a modern mix? Do we want to, modern mix? Do we want to make it new wave, auto tune, and then it keeps going up on the different what we want?
yeah,
Like, I don't know. Like, it's where you want to take it. It's marketing, and then it stems to marketing, and that's kind of what I have this thing for this personal marketing with JC on set and Digital Alliance and Artists United and what we all do together. We rise by lifting others, and that's kind of like the whole thing with Artists United too. I was gonna recap on that.
mm,
And so when we rise by lifting others, we also make good music to do that, and to even put people to even make people cry. Like, do you go into a songwriting session like I want to make this person cry? Like
I
I want him to feel it. I don't know. Like you
don't know if
can.
I'd go into someone and be like, "Yo, I purposely want to make someone cry," but I think
Yeah, you're not
it
going
depend. I
to.
think you'd go in and be like, "Right, what's the story?" And be like, "I don't know, so,"
A
and then
sad story. Yeah.
you're gonna then pick up on your own personal uh endeavors. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like what you've been through and stuff like that, and then that would then
Okay.
play a part of how you go up because you could go and so you talk about a loved one. You like many people talk about the loss of a loved one. This who have you
Right.
lost? And
Yeah.
you can talk about your parents, you can talk about a boyfriend, a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and whatever. But everyone deals with grief in a different, like, grief and loss in a different way. Some people might
Absolutely.
get over it in a day or so, depending on their relationship. Others, it might take a lifetime. So and it's
Yeah.
just kind of putting that down, and then as you say, so like, let's use Taylor for example. Again, I don't know Taylor's process, but whatever. But or like another artist that I like, really like, that inspired me with telling stories, is Bruce Springsteen. And so, I can't deal on the way he tells things, but with the way that he goes up, and he can make you feel like you're there. And so, they might
Yeah.
might go in and be like, right, I'm gonna write this down, blah blah blah, and then I don't know, they might think that's the nuts right there, or they might go and show it to someone, and be like, yeah, okay, what, like, read this and see what this kind of invokes in you, and then they'll be like, oh, this is this, and then they might take that on board and go, okay, let me change it and go for like a couple of drafts.
Yeah.
So,
The
uh,
the
yeah, so
process
they
of
might end up with
elimination,
yeah,
and yeah, eliminates the take and go push. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, it is. And I agree. Yeah.
nice. All right, so quickly jump back to some of the other ones I've got for you. Um, so, with your involvements in, the Onset podcast, Artists United Work, and Digital Alliance, like,
Well,
how did
it's not really, well, okay. So what happened, I want to rephrase that too. I dropped Onset podcast and
yeah,
now I'm Artists United. It was that.
all right,
So I told him, I made a bet with him, and this is something that I betted him. Like, it was like, okay, well, if you send me a T-shirt, I'll hang up my jersey, because that's how much I loved Artists United. So
okay, okay,
yeah, so you still
all right.
ask the question, but
So
yeah,
with your involvement in Artists United Network and
yeah.
Digital Alliance, how do you balance these various roles and ensure that each project receives the attention that it needs? So, basically, how do you manage your time?
So with Artists United Network, they have their own programming and they
Mm,
have their own team. So he says, okay, Jeremy, um, here's the videos we have now. Can you edit something when he's ready? There's no, when he's got full total control, the network has total control. And this is something that we talked about with negotiations of trying to sign Artists United Network is, well, all my creators own, like, he literally said, all my creators own their own stuff. Like, I do all the recordings, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, but when you're dealing with where it came from and who owns it, literally he owns all that film. Like, he filmed it all.
mm,
And if there's no contracts involved, then by law, it's his, because he records it. He has the masters. But I didn't bother talking to him about that. Like, I'm not going to get into his business. Like, I'll talk about it, but so when he's ready, he can come over and say, you know what, I've been working, because he's been working on he's on his new season. He's doing all new content now. Like, he's bigger, and like, he's doing things like everyone hustling. Like, he came back really hard, from what happened in St. Louis. And I'm not going to discuss what happened in St. Louis
mm.
on, yeah. So we know that the entertainment business is rough, especially when you have haters and things. So he's definitely got all that going, and we talked about it, and it's not a hiatus. It's a goal. So we're treating it as that. We're not, like, so whenever I go and I say, okay, are we ready? Are we ready? Are you gonna, so I go to his team, he does his production, he puts it out, I watch it, I update my publisher. And that's how we balance that, if it's going to happen.
Mm.
So, and then we'll just take it further. And then when he's done signing contracts with his core members that create that, he'll sign all them into under the umbrella. Like, that's what I'm going for. Like, I need somebody to manage that umbrella there for him, and all like all his core members who are making it, like all their network, like each member, like we got the late night show, and then you got Keenan and John and all those other creators that are creating their own stuff underneath Artists United. And when they're done with the business, we'll proceed right now. That's what's going on. And
Nice.
it makes sense because he has to draw paperwork,
Mm,
and
okay.
then he creates the content. Like, I'm just a distributing the music and videos, like, when they're ready. Like I'm kind of like I'm sitting here waiting. It's like I said, it's been for the paperwork and stuff. I think it's going to be a good deal for St. Louis because with the distribution and tech companies behind it, it's phenomenal. Like it's something new, I think.
Mm,
It's
could
something
be.
new that we can like we can make sure that everything's in line and secure for the artists and the films and the models and stuff. Like because everyone has their own thing and their own it. So it has to be patient. And I'm that patient person. I'm patient enough to stay a fan, but still be business.
Yeah, yeah.
And he knows that. Like we have conversations like weekly. So, and I will
Oh,
be flying down there, by the way. I'll be making we're going to do an official podcast here coming up soon with my team. I think Mary's going to be there, Dr. Mary Anderson. She's new to the team on Digital Alliance. So she's a co-publisher now. So I won't tell the label she's behind. I'm not allowed to say that now. We're not making that public, but she is working with me side by side, but because we can't put it
lovely.
out if it's not true.
Yeah,
Like right
no,
now, like it's not. I can't put it out because I don't have permission. So
that's all good. That's all good.
yeah, but it will happen. Like we're going to tell you what label it is. And it's a good label. A lot of country artists are coming soon to it. It's not rap. Like everyone said, like seen me do like for the last 20, 17 years or whatever. I lost count. But
Mm.
I should get those milestones down. But
All right. So going to the music, and yeah, we kind of spoke on the podcast side and the distributor side. So let's go back to the music and the production.
okay,
So let's go back there.
let's go.
What like basically the most simple question you can get. What was it about music that made you wanna get into music?
What made me get into music was a buddy of mine. His name was Hollywood Mike. And after I got a Job Corps, because I went to Job Corps in Kentucky, and I was a apprentice painter. And I thought I wanted to do labor. I thought I wanted to be a painter. Um, and then when I went to graduate, Hurricane Katrina came around way back
Yeah.
then. And that morning, I got into the paint shop and there was no one there. Everyone was gone. They shipped them out to Florida, and I was the only one. I was like, why am I not here?
Mm.
So that was tragedy. It was devastating for me to be there, and I had to stay like 3 months by myself, watching movies in a trade room, in a trade classroom. And I said I couldn't do this because I had already been making music.
Mm.
Like in high school, I was already making music on an IBM and an Audacity or something. Like I can't remember what it was. I think it was Audacity. Like I was putting music in there and already making music.
Mm.
And then when I graduated, it just came to that when I got back, I got out and I went I lived with my dad, and this was around 2004. And I went to work. I couldn't get a job at the painting. I got out. I just didn't have the confidence in me. Like after that happened, I was like, wow, maybe life don't want me to work into painting. That confidence, I felt that confidence drop. So I started working at Denny's and I met the guy Hollywood Mike. Like I didn't start hanging out with him and he was this tall black man. Like he was the tallest black man you'd ever see. And he sung his ass off. Like he did karaoke and he had this group called Singers, Artists, Entertainers, which was brought me clarity. And we went out and he was my best friend. We grew a relationship as friends. And then I ended up meeting the rest of the crew and we started to gig. We started to gig around St. Louis. I was already in the music. I was a dancer. I was a break dancer in high school, so I've always had dancing and stuff. So that's kind of surrounded my journey. Uh, and then I just started like I was like, this is not enough for me. After 3 years of karaoke, and then everybody knew us in like Blueberry Hill and Hot Shots and just different various places that had karaoke, like hotels that had
Yeah.
karaoke. It's not good enough. So I was in my dad's basement at the time,
Yeah.
and I won some do. I started doing music. I started producing even more. Like I got back into it. Like I was still like, okay, this is not enough. So I got back into it. I did my research. I ended up getting like Mixcraft, Reasons, and I didn't have Fruit Loops at the time. Fruit Loops wasn't even. I don't even know if Fruit Loops was out. I never seen it until after Reasons. Like I was
Yeah.
introduced to Reasons and
Yeah.
Mixcraft and Sony Pro, like Sony Pro. It was this, like some sort of loop thing going on,
Yeah.
and DJ One or some sort of programs. But I went through them all, and my dad he built computers, and the technology was there, and I had enough technology to run these programs. So I think that's another thing that really got me into the music is it happened to be with computers, and I had that drive to the technology. So I love softwares, dealing with them. And, one thing led up to another with the music. I, one, I ended up making some remixes and stuff, like a DJ. Like I wanted to be DJ Cos, the kid.
Yeah.
And then I went out and I on the internet and I won this DJ competition, and they sent me a DJ turntable, and that really fired my little engine, I guess, because I had
Yeah.
ADHD. I had ADHD. You got to remember, this mental illness is still in my life the entire time, and I was a person that likes to do that. Like I like to music because it just came natural, and that's kind of what I've been through at this point. Said, I can't work a job. I can't do this. I can't keep a job. Now, don't ask me how many jobs I've had in the last labor jobs working for someone else,
Yeah.
because it's ridiculous. I couldn't find out like who I was. After Job Corps, I kind of gave up on that whole realm of working for people. But I knew I had talent, and I'm still struggling now to this day, my mental and stuff, but it does cause like a performance issue on not on business side, my performance, my production, and I can't finish production stuff. Like
Yeah.
I got 59 new records that I need to hire somebody because I now do this distribution. So now you can see kind of like how that I understand, and I actually agree on that question about managing it. I had to stop. I had to stop doing all this hacks.
Yeah.
And I started focus on, okay, short form, and let's bring it back here. And then like with the software and stuff that I had and the experience through there, I ended up with the music, I ended up meeting people in Illinois. My dad left. I was doing karaoke. I said it wasn't enough. And I moved out. Like I moved out and he moved away. My mom and dad moved. So I was the only one left there, moving house to house, climbing the ladder, meeting people, shaking people's hands. I worked at the mall for a while and ended up meeting some groups called, I met this guy named Jay Money. He was a Native American that, did music, and he had Fruit Loops. So he gave me Fruit Loops. So I was introduced to Fruit Loops that time when I was working in the mall. So after that, I kind of like kept moving, and I met Foo Fops. I submitted my first demo to Foo Fops. You can look them up. They're a pretty cool band. I'm not sure. I haven't looked them up for a while, so I don't know if they're static or not, if they're moving or not.
Mm.
They probably are. And they had a really good relationship with Afro Man. And then if you know the Midwest area, it's like a lot of Afro Man out there in the Midwest, like a lot. So, and promoters
Yeah.
and things. So like they had connections to them and the people, around me seen it. And like I have a natural gift of meeting people, I think. And a lot of people still to this day, remember the work I've done in St. Louis and before I left. So that's a work in progress. You have to grow relationships because you got to leave really to manufacture more, I think. I really think that leaving St. Louis and doing all this music with people and enduring all these relationships leads you to where you belong in life. And that's that wisdom. That's wisdom. So,
Ooh,
yeah.
sorry.
So, and
Yeah.
that kind of brings me to the point here, like to just growing. I want to end it with that growing and maturing.
Okay. Okay. It was a
Yeah.
different answer from what I was thinking, but so good. I don't know. I kind of like so when you say what made you become interested, and people are like, oh, I wanted to find my. I guess actually, I guess under all your answer does kind of come under like finding yourself, I guess.
Yes, it was because I come from a broken family,
Mm,
like not my adopted family. Like I have 12 siblings. My mom used to get freaky like every year and have kids for 12 years.
fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
And finding myself was the only thing, and protecting people is what I do best. That's that publishing part, that security part when it comes into play. Like a lot of people watch, like they see, and then they don't know how
Yeah,
to
well,
react.
I don't know if I'd say that's where the publishing thing is. I'd say
I think that secure
that's
part.
where you come into the publishing.
Well, yeah, that's
Like
where I come in.
that's
You're
where
right.
the you said
But
earlier,
security
like
is what I wanted
empathy.
in my life. I
Yeah.
seen everybody they couldn't do anything because of the claims in the COVID, and like it kind of like built up. Like you're right. Like but my living, like I came from a broken family. Like I don't know my real dad. I don't know any of their like it was anxieties that drove me nuts in the music. And I knew that I needed to secure a publishing deal to help the artist. And that's like when my sister, I recently just got up with my sister. Like we started talking and we met each other online after my mom passed. And I know this is throwing it off, but you got to understand, like you got to hear this because all I wanted to do when she was 1 years old and was 6, and I pulled her behind a couch protecting her. Like I said, I've been protecting people for so long, like since I was a baby, that I already know what a publisher does. Publishing, we protect and we publish the music, but we also secure it. And that's a vital aspect on knowing how to deal and move in the music business. But I already had that mom instinct towards these artists. I already knew it. Like that's how I figured out I wanted to be a publisher and drop mostly everything and just mainly focus on publishing. And I do the short form music because TikTok is there.
Mm.
TikTok made that happen. So I could fit that in while still managing. And it's quite weird. It is. I don't know if I screwed the interview up, but it's whatever. I don't know. I've had
You
that
want to call it an
protection.
interview or not? Just fucking
Just the talking
asking you
and stuff.
questions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just asking you
Yeah.
questions and just answering them. Like
Right.
shit. Whether it's an interview, whether it's a talk, like
It's a
you know what I
talk.
mean? Just
Right.
whatever comes. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So you know, um, and yeah, so that's how you got like the the caring and empathy side.
Empathy. Yeah.
Um,
It's strong.
oh,
Strong.
it's nice, man. It's nice. You got to have
That's what
people
my
that.
character, like a lot of my character plays into play is like I don't deal I deal with that. That's what I deal with. If you really want to know why I'm so strong about things, Some people may take it's like off, like who is this guy? He's too strong. He's coming off too strong. So that's I just wanted to point that out there because when I'm having conversations with people and I'm strong on point, it's mostly because I have empathy for people.
Oh, that's good, mate.
Too
It's good
much,
to
actually.
yeah. I know the feeling, but it's good.
Yeah,
It's good. All right. So, be that was why you got into, or your why you sort of became interested. So,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
who would you say your musical influences are?
Bone
Who-
Thugs and Harmony, Michael Jackson, my friends, my father, my publisher, you, because you're in my life, and we've been friends for a little while now. So that's considered, my music friend and family and business. So
Appreciate that.
my mom and my brother, like they all pushed me. They always said, thinking doesn't get you paid, so you need to do something about it. When you have people say, well, you have dreams, but my father mostly, that's who my influence is. Like that drive my business aspect. And you know what? It's not paying your bills now, but you're going to make it. And that's what he said. And I kept that in my mind. But influences wise in the music business would be just the people that mentored me too, like the first direct people, like Top Cat, my publisher.
Hmm.
And influences, man. I think the influencer, the title influencer is a little bit different for me. You're speaking to a guy that's had 33 jobs in his life, that goes by the book most of the time that people usually don't in the fast food restaurants and stuff. But, and I get in trouble for that. Oh, the pickles, the pickles not on, if the pickles are touching, you can't have the pickles touching, dude. So what, dude, if the pickles touch? Like, so what? Like, if you're selling real estate or something, if I was in a touchy atmosphere, then yeah, like if it's going to cycle over to contracts, then yeah, but let me do my job. That's what I'm here for, and then influence, man. Like you said, like you're not an influencer like the other day.
Well, yeah.
I don't think you are now. Like now talking to you, I think that whole the discussion is, I think, something totally different. Yeah.
Well, all right. So I think I've said this on another interview as well. Not just you, but I think I've said this on another interview with like on on here.
Right.
I don't, I haven't got a blue tick and whatever to say I'm an influencer, and I don't really call myself an influencer, though, some people told me I have had influence, what I mean? Like
Yeah. Like,
where we've been doing live streams and whatever, and I might say, oh, this this sound for this might be a good thing. So like if you're talking about counting money, a lot of people get the money rolling sound, to kind of just add that little bit of, as you were saying earlier,
oh
cinematography.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like
So
the
it's
sound effects and stuff.
yeah. So it'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm counting money, and then you'll get a of the roll. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's
Or
that euphoria.
yeah, and then it gives it that. Yeah, it helps paint that picture, like you're in a bank or you're in the thing and you've got your money counter, and
Right.
it's those little things. So, it might be something like that, and they'd be like, oh, do you know what? I didn't think of that at the time. Like, that's pretty good. Or you might think like change this, or maybe change maybe like look at this from like don't change it, but like this one idea could be, you could do it maybe this way, like, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't
Yeah.
like, I don't call myself an influencer, but some people have told me that I've had an influence on the way that they do things.
Right.
So but then
Okay.
that's down to them. So I'm I'm not an influencer like, oh, like, hi guys, here's my store, go buy my shit. Like,
Yeah.
right? You
Like
know what I mean? Like, and I haven't got a
I get
fucking
that.
millions of followers and fucking blue ticks and that. I'm just, people like
Yeah.
an idea. People like an idea, and I'm like you said earlier about about creating things, and you're like a thinker. You know,
I'm a critical thinker, dude. I
yeah, like
think
I
too
can't. I
much.
sometimes I come up with good ideas. Sometimes I might not. You know what I mean? But you
Right.
know, sometimes we come up with ideas, and if people like the ideas, and they might pursue them. So
Right. Like,
I'd say that's the only kind of influence I have. So I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of tell the people what we were sort of talking about. But I don't know what kind of
yeah.
I don't know. What's the word? I don't know. How was your perception change from the other day then?
Oh. Um,
Because that's what you were gonna go in. That's what you were
I
gonna go in about
was.
before I cut you
Yeah.
off with a tangent. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
As
intrigued.
I'm tangent. Like this is because it's serious to me. It's serious because what you do in life, and I'm going to tell you a reason what I think about how I think about it now, is what you do in life affects other people. And what you show and tell other people will really affect their landscape. It's like if you go into a school and you have a bad teacher, but you don't know it's a bad teacher until you get those warning signs. Like there's nobody to tell. The only time you get them warning signs is when they start after a while and you start to hear it from people. So being an influencer, I think there's enough influence in the world that people shouldn't even go there. Like whatever your objective is, if you're creating content, if it's for the good, you should educate people around it. Yeah. Um, Theories involved, things like that. And then when I think about you is I think you're a real genuine person that is going to help the artist where they're at and where they want to go and then boost their level of confidence. Of course, you've boosted my confidence and you expand my mind because you are like thinking about and you question it. You're really questioning the review. You're really wanting interaction. You're really wanting that person to go on live stream
Hmm.
and interact and connect with other people. You said it the other time, you know, you want people to interact because
Oh yeah,
that's the best way of going about these reviews is seeing them interact.
no, definitely.
I think that you have something that can grow. And if those people that are submitting music, they're submitting music and they're coming back and you're creating a lead generation for your reviews and you at the same time you're not really worrying about it. But I've seen people go on doing reviews, talk to people, listen to music, they're making the connections, but they don't nurture those leads right. And you're all about nurturing, I've seen so far. Like if you go and collaborate with somebody, you tell an artist, oh, I like that, that's nice, and they change it, and then they collaborate with someone else on your stream, and then they come back and give that project to you, that's a success in my eye.
Hmm.
Tell me
Yeah.
what you think about that.
Well, no, it's true.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
true. You know, like an example of that would be sort of when we first started. We did what did we call it? Blood, sweat, and bass. We put on this little competition called Blood, Sweat, and Bass. Basically, we invited 16 people, 8 producers, 8 artists, and then it was like, right, here's so and so, meet so and so, go and do whatever you want to do, basically. Um, and then they went off, they collaborated, sent their tracks in, we listened to them. We kind of did like a little voting thing, but the idea wasn't necessarily like to win something. So that kind of shot me in the foot a little while later down the line when people are like, "Oh, what's the prize?" It's like, well, the
Oh
prize is
yeah.
you fucking work with
Yeah.
someone, you twat. You know what I mean? Like, don't come out like, all right, don't come at me like you what like the only
That's
reason you
where
want to
that
take
came
part, like
from.
you want to partake in this just because you want money, because fuck you. All right,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like the reason why I did it, and the reason why I'm so against kind of giving away prizes is because I spoke to Deadmau5 about it, and he was just like, look, if anyone comes to you about prizes, they're not in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, if Deadmau5 is telling me this, fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try and put up a shit ton of money. If you want to make music with someone, you want to make music with someone.
Exactly. If
You know,
if
and then
you,
and
yeah,
yeah, and that's kind of the thing. So it's like, like I'll try and get these people, whether or not they want to come and like do it with me is a different thing, because I'm not necessarily going to give you a shit ton of money like everyone else is trying to give you a shit ton of money. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
So
mean, yeah,
yeah, so that
yeah.
that shot me in the foot. But anyway, but there have been people that have, from those competitions that have released those tracks together, and that have come back with other people and been like, yeah, because of this we made this. And it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I wanted from the beginning. Communication, collaboration, and
Communicate.
then if you go away from that, you'll hopefully learn from someone. So communication, collaboration, education. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then, and I said to you on your podcast, like, I just wanted to try and make a safe space where people could come share their music. Not even necessarily for me to review it. The only reason I review is because I don't get that many people come in. So
It's a
it's that,
conversation starter.
yeah, try and make a conversation, or just to try and fill some dead air. Like,
Yeah.
so
Dead air.
that's kind of why I do it. But otherwise, the main reason I do it is because I just wanted to try and make a safe space where people could come, from being ripped off by some other arsehole.
Right.
Um,
Someone
and
paying
then
somebody something, and then
yeah,
they turn
someone
it
someone will
off
be like, oh
early.
yeah, this like, oh, this is shit. But then it's like, who are we? Who, like, okay, we can say it's shit, but who are we to say it's shit?
Yeah.
Personally, we might think it's shit, but
Your
we're not.
opinions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
but
opinions could be.
but our
Yeah.
our opinions are different. This, like I said, there's 8 billion people in the world. You know what I mean? So
Right.
our opinion doesn't necessarily count. It's
Right.
and we can't decide what the opinion is for like 700 or 7 billion and something people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that
That
power to go.
algorithm trying to do it for us, though.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And that's
the
bullshit.
algorithm, and that's people saying, right, that's people paying people for whatever to say. The algorithm only can show you this, or it can show you that, and so that's that's big business, and money, and conspiracy theories. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a
That's
whole
big business, bro.
that's a whole tinfoil conversation. But yeah, but that was like that was the whole reason behind this. Is the more, like, if I can try and get people to come into it, and the more sort of unreleased music we can hear, and then hopefully people will jump on it and be like, yo, I like that, or I like this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like an example is, I made a beat for an EP I wanted to try and do. It didn't necessarily come out, but one of the beats, one of the artists from the live stream liked it, and he got on it, and I was just like, well, do what you want to do with it, and he dropped it. It came out yesterday, so
Right.
so it's just collaborating with other people is
Right.
is what we wanted to do. So
Yeah. And that intention and the
yeah,
attitude of,
yeah,
the communications, and,
yeah,
it goes a long way when you're trying to fix or help, maybe fix, like, you may want to try to fix a problem or help somebody, or lead them in the right resource,
yeah.
because the
Oh, and then
resources matter
yeah, definitely. And, like, if
too.
yeah, so quickly going back to like the whole nurture thing. Like, I'm a pretty empathetic person. Like, I care a lot about shit that I shouldn't really care about. I mean, I care a lot about a lot of things.
Right.
And then like, people getting told by other people that they're not good enough, and fucking annoying. Like, because all right, your track may not necessarily be for me, but we're not to say that you can't be the next big thing.
Right. And
So,
yeah.
and
Oh,
if you get someone that, like, I've got mad confidence issues. I'm afraid, like, I'll be honest, like, right at the moment, I'm having trouble, like, making music and that, and it plays with my anxieties, and every time I want to do it, it makes my chest tight, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. You know what I mean? So, I know there are people coming through that are probably in the same boat. And you know,
And
if you
you
could
do
give someone,
sample. Do you sample? I mean, I
yeah,
know
I
I
use a lot
sample.
of samples. Like I can make music. You know, that's
Yeah,
what I went to uni for. I just haven't really been inspired to do it. You
right.
know, from shall we say from scratch, in a while. And you know, then since doing this, I was just like, you know, it's played on my imposter syndrome. So I use a lot of samples. I like to put
Yeah,
samples together. So
yeah. I use some samples. We
mm,
do. I do a lot of hits, a lot of pre-recorded hits, and
mm,
then cutting them samples up,
yeah,
and then resampling them through Universal Audio plugins, which you got the 1 to 76 compressors and EQs and stuff, which Spark UAD, uh, UA Spark subscription is like $19, and I use that, and it has a bunch of professional templates, the presets.
yeah.
So like when you have a bunch of samples, like you'll see everyone, they'll tell you, okay, get rid of all your samples, your loops and stuff,
Yeah,
this and that. But when it comes down to it, that's what the game really started out as, sampling. Like somebody made something and then somebody's
yeah,
resampled, interpreted it, like interpreted
yeah.
it
I
to,
don't think they just mainly say that because you know the whole copyrights and things like that. But I mean, we're
yeah.
using like, you know, like look at Splice now. You know what I mean, like
Spy. Okay,
like
so that, yeah, go.
royalty free, and
Absolutely.
you know, like I don't have Splice, but I'm a bit old, but you know, I like to
You do
you know, like
cymatics.
yeah, like oh man, I love cymatics.
They're all
Like
royalty
fuck,
free.
man. Yeah,
I
like
love them too.
if I could work with like, I'll tell you what, man. The biggest like my biggest goal would be to work with cymatics. If I could get Steven or Drew like to kind of see like to see the idea I want to do with some of the some of the competitions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have the money
What's your,
for them, but
yeah.
that would be sick. But
So you're talking about like a competitions, remix competitions, or what? Are you we talking about creating a whole nother landscape for producers or songwriters
oh, just like
and
if we could
artists?
kind of, you know, I mean, again, I'm not a big platform for it, like at the moment, but
Right.
so
Well,
like at the moment, there's a there's a person I know who makes samples, and you know, he's hopefully currently working on a sample pack
yeah,
for me, and then you
that's
know,
cool.
and then hopefully,
Engineers. Good
then we're gonna
job.
kind of reach out to like producers and be like, look, do you fancy taking part in this kind of like producer competition?
I'll do it. Right. If you get it off the ground, I'll be.
Well, yeah.
I'll
Like,
help.
hopefully, kind of gave me like a 2 to 4 week window. So it's
Okay.
been about. I'm gonna say it might be two, but I'm gonna say about a week. So we got like another
Right.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, and then you know people take part. And then you know hopefully they'll do whatever with it. And then the idea, you know, as I said earlier, it's not necessarily what you do with a beat. I don't really care what you do with a beat. It's
Right.
hopefully, you know, people make a beat and then they come together when we kind of go live with it.
Right.
And then it's like, yo, you did that beat? Okay. There, you did that beat? Okay. You know what I mean? And then that's the idea. But
So
yeah, fucking
I have a question. I know this is the interview for me, but this is kind of came to my mind. Like,
yeah.
do you have something set up? Post post conversation. You deal with the interact like Discord. Do you have a Discord that you deal with post conversation before you go on? Like, if you have a Discord or something,
I've got a
and
Discord. I really
okay,
fucking use it.
well, we're gonna start using it.
Okay.
Can we start using it? Because I need somebody to help me, but also you probably need some help too. But I have another Discord. I have a Discord that has a community of co-op of artists,
Okay.
and they do post stuff. Like they get into there and they say, okay, what's the
Yeah.
plan on conversation and what's really going to drive this? Because when people come in and they see that energy, they want to become a part of it. And with that post commenting and that post, we could really make this idea of yours come to life. And with everyone watching this right now, don't forget to drop your comments and get with Wayne. Get with Wayne, because I've seen his work. I've seen your work. Yeah.
Appreciate it. But yeah, I won't lie, I don't really have any post things. I just kind of reach out and be like, yo, look, do you want to do this or not? Most of the time, most people tell me to jog on because there's no prize money. But
that prize money is that's like my dog not eating, man. Like my dog never eats. It drives me nuts when my dog don't eat.
Yeah. So people are like, oh, what's the prize money? I'm like, yo, there ain't no prize money. Like, fucking, like I'll be honest. Like I'll be honest with you. This month, just to keep the channel alive, I spent $1,000.
Jesus Christ!
I had to spend $1,000.
Wait, on what? Like, what do you spend?
Like, so I have I'll totally transparency. I don't make no money on this. You know what I mean? I haven't found a way to monetize the fuck out of this yet.
You're talking about are you spending
the whole
advertisement?
No, like not even advertise, like not advertising, but
okay.
So I had to set it up as a business because I could have gone as a CIC, but I didn't trust anyone to partner with. Or I could have gone down a charity route. I didn't understand any of that. And then I could have just done it as myself, which I should have done.
Sole priority. Yeah. Individual.
Instead, I set it up as a company. So it's For the Lag of God Limited.
Limited liability.
Yeah. Oh, what I don't know. Fuck knows, man. But either way, it's a business, right? So I set it up as business.
Okay.
I'm shit at maths. That's where my dyslexia and stuff comes in. I'm shit at maths. And then, so I was like, right, okay, I need someone to kind of help figure this out. Because at the time, we were sort of selling merch.
Okay.
Like, which is the fucking jersey thing you see next to me. So we were kind of selling.
Yeah, that's a badass jersey. I like it.
Yeah, and so I was like, right, I need an accountant. So I went and got an accountant. And luckily enough, she's a lovely lady, cheap. Like, well, I say cheap, still cost me a lot, but she's a lovely lady. Believes in the idea of me doing what I'm doing, and so yeah, I love her to death. But basically, she looks after an account that's empty. Like there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I paid her 330. I paid her 330 to look at, like, to do the accountants and the whole, just to make sure the company's registered to go for another year. And then I just paid. So I've got like 4 domain names and a website that cost me like £500. So we're already up 800. And then, just the bog standard, paying for Restream, Adobe, all that stuff. So yeah, like I paid $1,000.
You got Adobe and
so
stuff.
It's like,
okay.
It's like, yo.
So look. we do. This is what I'm good at. This is what I can help you at, because I've been through all this spending money too. You're not the only one who spent money. Like I feel obligated to help you.
I don't know.
So
that's right.
Consults like so you're.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've probably got only 9 months left. Because we hit. In 9 months' time, we hit 5 years. I've been doing this 5 years, or be nearly 5 years. And if I can't think of a way, I'm gonna have to pack it in. But
right, I see where you're doing. I see what's going on.
Let's not make it too depressed and too not about me, because it's meant to be about you.
Hey, well, this is about me, because if you're failing, I'm failing.
Oh yeah. Well, not really. But we could talk about
in
that
terms. Offline,
yeah, because we go into it more on here than it's.
But I think this is this is something that we should be able to construct and really advocate for others to learn from us. So yeah, you brought it up. We're finna pursue this offline.
Well, if
we're finna make this right. I'm going to make sure that you don't pay all that. We're going to make sure that you're right. I'm going to see, I'm going to help you. I want to help you. Remember, I have ADHD, so I want to solve problems. This is what I do best.
I appreciate it.
All right.
But yeah, right. Okay. So anyway, about you.
All right.
Right. So
about my life, man.
Oh, good.
My life. You don't need these. It's great.
I don't think we get them over here. Well,
You don't
wait,
get
show the
life?
picture. Show the picture of what it like of what they look like.
Life. Okay. Can't
What they
go.
look like, shredded wheat.
Yes, they are shredded wheat.
Oh yeah, so shredded wheat. Yeah, we don't get life brand.
Hmm.
We just call it shredded wheat. Is what we call it. But yeah, anyway, so all right,
Okay. Well, can I
couple
get a
more
distribution
questions.
on that?
Couple more questions before I
Okay.
before we kind of call it. We're going like nearly 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you could collaborate with anyone, who would it be? Dead or alive?
Wow.
Hmm. All right, you can take your time, mate. It's fine.
That's a big question.
Well, you could choose one dead or one alive. It's up to you. It's entirely up
Just
to you if you
one?
want it.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, if
I want
hang
to
on.
choose. I want to choose this.
All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna go lip. Go ahead.
Say top five, like your first five people. They could be dead or
Oh,
alive. So you got five. Because I'm feeling nice.
okay. Brian Whitaker, Excel Beats. Okay.
Hmm.
I know him personally. I still can't get a collaboration with him.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'd know a few
Preach.
people like that, but
Preach STL. Okay.
okay.
He's located in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay. Sapphire Phoenix.
Yeah.
Does this have to be music wise or can it just be anyone?
You want to make it anyone, I suppose, but it was meant to be just music. Yeah.
Music, okay, but Rimrod from St. Louis, you're like, I can choose anyone. I'll choose my day ones, the ones that I haven't been able to. And there's a reason behind that. Because I still haven't collaborated with them.
Oh,
That's why.
you still got one more before you give you reason. You still got one
Rimrod,
more.
okay. Rimrod photography, okay. And then you, because you're one of my day ones. And I can tell you why.
Yeah.
All right, Brian Whitaker. He produced "See Me Shine" for Bone Thugs and Harmony. He was one of the co-producers on it. He came up with the idea when he was in college.
Nice.
All right, and he works with Bone Thugs and Harmony, my favorite band. He worked with it. Okay, and others.
Yeah.
Preach STL is because I think that is because he's a rapper, of course. He holds a lot of value in the hip hop culture in St. Louis. He's not only valued in the culture, but he's also valued as a spokesman for the artist. Like he has a lot of trust and loyalty, and he's created a lot of different nuances in the hip hop culture in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
Okay, in the United States. And there's other reasons why, because he's collaborated with some of the best in the Midwest, like Stevie Stone and them two, like Stevie Stone and Tech Nine and Sapphire Phoenix. Because I feel like Sapphire Phoenix has the character and she's wise and she makes great decisions in the business. And I never got a chance to work with her and just talk to her, not podcast with her, but just talk to her because she's very, very bold, beautiful. And I think she could be the next Beyonce. Like if you've seen her, you would flip. Like her music and things. She's a great songwriter. Rimrod photography. Rimrod, it works commercial. He's a good friend of mine. I did a DJ drop for him, but it wasn't for him. It was for him, but it came from third party.
Okay.
he never we never really we talk, and he's very famous. Like he's well known for his photography, and he works with the best food companies and businesses all over. Like he's so like I see so successful, and he I wanted to do like a calendar, but something small, like a small project.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and he just gives me a lot of inspiration because he's a philanthropist and entrepreneur. Like
Yeah.
he's in the business like that. So,
Nice.
and then what was the last one?
Me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted that reaction. I want to work with you. I want to collaborate with you, and we got to make this happen
Mm.
because you are. I want to be very settle on this because I
It's
understand
fine,
that
mate. It's fine.
this is what it is, and this is man, let's make it interesting. I want to collaborate with you because you're a real person, of course, but you're just you're an all around good person. You're somebody that doesn't ask for a lot. Like you don't ask for anything. You don't push much stuff on people. You're patient. Um, your music sounds good. I believe in your constructive criticism. I believe that you can advocate for artists for the future of what I'm doing. So there's many good traits in this world. Um, and you have them. You have that humility and you have what it takes for that stepping stone to learn and to achieve what others can't, you know?
Mm.
And it's something that you can't, a lot of people don't have. And I just want to say everyone's different. Everyone has their own opinions towards things. Oops.
Mm.
I believe that you can blanket people, like safeguard them too, secure, because you're honest, you're opinionated, you're creative, regardless of anxieties, regardless of who's surrounding you, regardless of how much money you spend on people, how much you do on your business, like you talked about. Like you are ready to go out and fight that war for the artist. I believe that. I believe that.
Oh, mate, well, fucking hell, it's quite
That's
nice,
my
man.
opinion on you.
Believe you.
And I
Uh,
honestly think that you have what it takes to keep pursuing this.
mm.
You reached out to me, and a lot of people. You're like the second person to interview me.
Yeah.
Dustin interviewed me because he's like you, like he has motive, and he wants things to go better, and he wants to meet people, and he he sees it. A lot of
Yeah.
people. This is the second interview in my entire career. And
To be honest,
that's what kind of like why I want to collaborate with you.
you were like the second interview I've done. I mean, I've done one. Well, I've
Oh,
done two with one person. One was like an interview. The other one was kind of like a follow up.
but that other one
Um,
was famous. The guy that you was pretty famous, right?
no, not the guy that I interviewed. Like I've only been interviewed myself
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. My
twice.
bad. Okay.
So one person did an interview and then they did a follow up thing,
Okay.
and then the only other person was you.
Mm,
So I've only been interviewed twice.
okay.
I've only interviewed. I think you're number 11.
Okay.
So I
Yeah, and
think
I've
you're good.
interviewed.
No, wait, hang on. No, hang on. All right. All right. Judah, Mike, Frank, Kim, Kenny, Project, SJ, Higher Ground. Okay, shit. So you're 9.
Okay, number 9.
Number
I
9.
probably lost
Look at
count,
that.
but
Top
I
10.
have them all. I've have all mine for my first season. I did like 10, and it's like Dustin. of course, Dustin Diggs from Artists United, John Harden, um, Jay Davenport, which is new on the team, and he runs the country trap. Yeah, he's.
Straight
I'm
savage.
so. Yeah, I'm trying to straight say. I interviewed him, and that was just we talked, but that was really an interview because I wanted to see the business side on him, and it just came. Like sometimes business interviews come straight to to the table without even knowing it. That's what I like about him. Dr. Mary Anderson, she's from Healing Vocals.
Yeah.
She helps artists get their egos in check, and if they don't, she can't you can't help someone that can't help themselves. So that's that. She's a really good person. 5'9" Kane, he's from the Midwest. 5'9" Kane design or 5'9" designs, which he does that for. He designs like flyers and stuff for the artists that he works with, and he's traveling now. Chime management. Um, Chime management was cool. I haven't yet got it. I got to get that set up. But there, he's with Chime management. Brian Whitaker, I interviewed him. I haven't. I guess you could say that's working with someone, but not in the production. Like it's different whenever.
Still,
I don't say it. Well, okay. So let's. I don't know.
It's still a collaboration of sorts. Do you know what I mean? You're still doing something like
for somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I came on your podcast. We collaborated there.
Okay. So I guess
we're collaborating now. So
right.
But it depends on how you want to like. You could call it a music collaboration if you wanted to. So you still got to collaborate on music, but you still collaborated in other aspects.
Yeah, you're actually right. Because when I talked to my publisher about it, he was kind of like, okay, well, what's his IP? So I had to go out, reach out to his IP, and so it was really that's literally almost a collaboration, and that's uploaded on the distribution, so it should be releasing in here soon. When I release this next season, like it's going to be the first one. I haven't released anything on platforms since 2016, 17, something like that. 18, maybe 18. I can't remember when it went live. I got to look back. It's on symphonic distribution. So if you go to abnormalities, you'll see it on Abnormal Sounds. But it was when I was with that label, and I still micromanage it. We didn't talk about Abnormal Sounds, but we will.
That's all right. Maybe on the next.
And I did a lot of other ones, interviews, important ones.
You haven't got to rattle them all off. I was just, I was just saying, I wasn't trying to like boast or anything. I fucking done 9. Do you know what I mean? In the 9th. So,
I
not a thing, but
I think I think I've about around the same, like serious ones, like Stefan Eckel and My Day Ones, but it's music is different. I think it, like you said, it's different on the collaboration and what you expect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask you one more question. So what advice do you have to anyone looking to get into the music industry?
You got this on replay right here. Just record this one. This clip right here. This is good.
All
right. Let me
I can clip it as a reel as well, so you're all right if you want.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Okay, so I don't want to make this difficult for people. And you go on the social media and you find all these influencers and people talking about what they would do or say or how you should go about things. I think it's about if you're going to succeed in the music industry, and I'm just saying this because I'm as far as I can go. And it's nothing to do and nothing personal for the people that I know or anything like that. So I feel like the business, you should learn the business first, to be honest. Learn publishing, copyrights, international standard recording codes, where to go, where to get them. Learn about the MLC, rights organizations, understand how to get paid, how it works, the structure, what organizations you need to finish the structure. Go out and buy a book, Audible, listen to it repetitively. Listen to it. It changes. Like now music's changed. Like I just seen All About the Music Business. You know that book. Everyone knows that book.
Yeah, I haven't got it, but I know.
He was on an interview the other day or recently with Busy Works Beats, talking about, you know, how streaming has affected his career and different things in the book. So like he's a genius in the game. Saving your money, budgeting. Go to these organizations, tally up a budget of how much this stuff costs to get into the organizations, no matter if it's you're in the UK, so they could contact you to know the international stuff. Because I'm published music in the United States, but international publishing is kind of a little bit above my head right now. That's not what I dealt with. But if an artist would come to me and say that I could get that information over, and somebody like you would know that, right?
But I don't really deal with it.
You don't know as to do it, but you know the resources, and you know.
Yeah, I know the companies. I wouldn't say
you have to
people, but
okay, but you know how to upload to those organizations and title. Like you have to. Like everyone does have to know that. So. Know the system in and out. Learn how to title it. Learn that there is 200% on your pro organization that you have to fill out. You know, I just recently went over just small. I'm not going to make it last so long. I met an artist that's been titling their stuff for the last 10 years at 100%, and they own both. They own the performance, song, and the production and all that. Like 100, no, you need 200%. If you were the owner, if you made the beat music, or you contracted out, or however it is, that type of stuff. Learn how to title your titles. You know, let's go on. Learn how to locate work codes. Learn what to ask. Like, where can I find you? Okay, then go to BMI ASCAP or your pro organization that you're affiliated with and look into the database. Look in and find out how many titles these people have, who they work for, where they're working out of, what city they're in, and then network. Then like for Go Network, if you go and walk into a network and there's a bunch of people like a label or something and you like what they're doing, have only one point of contact, because we don't want to fail. We want to make sure that you have that one point of contact and you don't get mixed up in a lot of people's space. Because when stuff happens and arguments happen, and they are going to happen, and when they do, you only want to have to deal with one person, not the entire label. Like you can't have 20 quarterbacks on one football team. You know, and I say this because that point of contact, like I just got referred to today, actually, it was earlier this morning. A buddy of mine, October Sky, he referred me to someone that promotes, and they have a team. So like if you're going to succeed in the network before you get into the industry, because like obviously you're starting out and you're going to be an upcoming somebody in the business. So make sure that you deal with one person. Keep it small. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying like keep your network small. I'm saying keep that your point of contacts small. so you don't get fighting and arguing. And this is gonna be an advocation thing for the future, for you, not just you, but for everyone. Because like the one time you don't like somebody and you have some sort of negative feeling toward them, or there's miscommunication, you got to deal with their whole entire people coming towards you, and it's not funny, and it's not fun at all. So I rather mess up and get yelled by my dad than both my mom and dad. Like imagine a scenario between that, but then imagine a whole organization kicking you to the curb. Like I can't do it. I did it before. I stepped on people's toes. I talked to people. Oh, you're stealing my artist. You're stealing your artist. I'm going to keep it real short right now because that's how I am. These experiences are real and you will feel them. And the repercussions are really, really bad when the outcome. Because I've dealt with like Mary. She's a perfect example of bringing something to me that the label is having difficulty with. So if I had a label come to me, that's a bunch of people coming to me, and then everyone saying this and that, and she said this, he said this, and nobody knows the real story. But if you got that one point of contact, baby, none of that bullshit can go on. They can't say nothing. Yep. And that's when you are able to communicate on the right level, excuse my language, and everything could be advocated smoothly. And I've already done case studies. I've already been working it. I do it every single day, and it works. Successful. I don't understand why it wouldn't work for you guys. And that's kind of like what I wanted to say is like advocate for you as a whole instead of singular, or instead of fighting. Like don't fight, don't argue because something went wrong. Make it better. What can we do better? I don't care if you gotta like reset and like blame yourself for it. Blame yourself. Feel that humility. Understand why that guilt is there. And then you can push forward togetherness with that togetherness, and that advocacy will come through. Like, because Mary sent out a letter, we did that, and we got together. She got on the phone call, an example, and we got together. We wrote an email to everybody on the label before anything popped off. Check this out. We controlled the situation. When we did that, I approved of it because we all approved of it, and we sent it out. And guess what? That person isn't going to be instigating no more because they don't have the control because of the set process, because there was that point of contact and respecting others and not stepping on anyone's toes. And that's what I meant by point of contact. So I did that. I went out in the St. Louis area, and I start shaking people's hands and meeting everybody I can, because I really literally put that in my mind, the people to get you big. And what I did was people seen that and they were like, oh, he's fucking with all these different people. He ain't gonna be for me. That ain't for me. And that's how it is in the music. Is that jealousy comes into play, and then you can't control that jealousy and what people say. So if you only keep it small, you can't have all that gesture, all that that gesture. People, and that's where people can see, I think, from your communication and your business, and the people will be like, oh well, we can trust him because he's not going to say nothing, or like we can trust him with this because he's proven his loyalty. He's proven that his communication is a little bit more advanced than others. And that's all I want to say on that. I think that's going to make it. I really think that point of contact is what really makes that network go and spring forward. I really do. Like with me and you, before we end this, like me and you, I told you, I said, yeah, we can work together. You're my point of contact. if I want something or you want something or we want to do something, we do it together. I don't do like this whole, I don't go and steal someone's art. It's like that. It gets like with the point of contact, that's what it eliminates. It eliminates people on the other side thinking that I'm stealing. I'm just example. Like this is just totally an example because it
I got no
happens.
one you can steal anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing to steal. Like there's nothing. The communication flows right, and that's all I'm saying. I'm just a little bored with it right now, but that's it, man. Like that's it. That's the final equation.
All right.
So yeah, lovely,
Been
and
a
that's kind
pleasure,
of
mate.
what it is.
Lovely. Yeah, that's it, mate. That's
I
it.
hope it is
Yeah. Well, for now, anyway.
for
Until
now.
next time. Until next time. All right.
Yeah.
So that has been for the lag of God, and we have been talking to JC on set. And yeah, all right, mate. It's been a pleasure, and
Yep.
yeah, hang around. I'm gonna end this.
Okay,
And yeah,
that's fine.
all right.
Yeah,
All right.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate everybody that's viewing this, that's seen this, and good luck. Good luck.
Peace.